What's up, guys? My name is Kouharo.
My name is Jerron Gaddis.
And we are the wannabeaboos podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest game and anime news, reviews, and waifus for lifu. If I sound better, because I am now over the flu. Last week I was just fucking terrible, and
you were down in it.
I was coughing up like my soul, and for those who even cared, I am better. Thank you for your healthy wishes. And this week we're starting out strong. How about you, John? How are you today?
Well, you're a pedophile. We wish you. We want you to die.
Hey, fuck you.
But I'm doing all right. I might be getting a second job, which is nice. So
yeah.
I'll have more money to waste on anime and video game products.
Indeed, of course. Maybe even cosplay.
Maybe I'll have enough money to motivate myself to actually get fit. Because right now I look like I'm a weeaboo. But otherwise,
I mean, the Homestuck shirt doesn't really help.
I mean, it doesn't. By the way, if you didn't know how trashy I was, I also read all of Homestuck.
Oh man.
And that was an adventure. But I don't know if you would count that as some sort of like outlier of the. I guess you can't. It's not. It's a webcomic community, or no, I don't want to say webcomic community.
I mean, it's
a webcomic.
Yeah, it's in the realm of that, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of.
Like a neighbor, maybe.
It's like that weird neighbor that no one wants to talk to. Because a lot of people hate the
community.
The community. The community hates itself. But I mean, it's dead now because the comic ended.
Oh, okay.
Well, but
so it's just like whoever's left over.
Whoever's left over. I'm here. I'm wearing the shirt. They have a game out. If you're interested in Homestuck at all, called Hive Swap.
All right. Well, this is episode 7, and we don't really have much of an organized, I guess, topic points here. We're kind of just like talking about some cool shit that we kind of ran into, and just other things we want to talk about, like for example, manga.
Right. We haven't really gotten that much into manga except for when we talk about it in the Crunchyroll
Anime Awards. Yeah.
But and honestly, just if you listen to that, you would think that we don't read manga at all. I mean, we do, but it's just nothing popular enough to actually get onto that list.
Yeah, that's true.
Personally, I mostly just read trash and like My Hero Academia.
I mean, we define trash though.
Like, I got a lot of like ecchi. No, not that ecchi, but like kind of things that aren't popular yet that might get anime.
Like a One Punch Man situation?
Huh?
Like a One Punch Man situation? Kind of like that?
Well, no, because One Punch Man has an anime. The anime was the reason why I started reading the manga.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like, because the manga was, like, also, like, I mean, it was a whole thing where, like, the manga even, like, just looked like it was drawn on a napkin versus, like...
Well, no, not that... See, so what you're referencing is the webcomic.
Okay.
So there's the webcomic, the manga, and the anime.
Oh, okay.
I believe don't quote me on this. I'm probably going to look it up to confirm it for you guys later. So there was the webcomic first, and I believe then there was the manga, and very shortly after the manga, there was the anime.
All right.
Which is why they share a lot of frames. Like, if you read the One Punch Man manga from the beginning to the end of the first season, it's essentially literally the exact same things happen. Like, there's very little, if any, deviation. So that was, I mean, I don't know how much of a hand one had in it. I'm pretty sure he had a pretty big hand. One being the author.
Right.
But
well, we want to talk about manga that we read.
Well, yeah,
reading. Have you actually finished any manga?
Have I finished?
Yeah.
Yes. Shit, what have I finished? Unfortunately, I haven't been updating the manga side of my anime list, so... Well, actually, I should see what's actually there. I haven't looked at that list in a long time.
Okay, well, while you do that, there's ones I do and I can bring up right now.
Yeah.
That I finished. Recently, I finished it's It was one. It was the one that won the manga part for the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, which was the
lesbian one.
Yeah, my lesbian experience with Lonliness.
Yeah.
I if you want my take on that, you can listen to the Crunchyroll Anime Award podcast episode. But overall, it's a really short read. It was only 6 chapters, but I finished it because it was a really like real to heart story. You know that it talked about the author's like actual experiences, and it's a retelling of that in this manga format. And I would encourage anyone to read it if you have any free time. It's only 6 chapters, something like that. Really short read. A lot of relatable situations and thoughts the author portrays out.
Right.
It's a good. It's definitely something to pay attention to. Which is, I'll go back. It's called My Lesbian Experience with Lonliness. That was one of my mangas that I finished. Before that, the only thing I can remember at this point is finishing the entirety of A Silent Voice. And
oh yeah, how was that?
As you know, the movie. For those of you who have watched the movie, it was great. Mm-hmm. It did its own thing. I personally loved it.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Now the manga, the manga, the entire manga is. There's a lot more details, a lot more small things that happen that you don't see in the movie. But reading it for the first time was just a giant roller coaster of emotions for me internally. Cause
I'm sure it was.
What really got me was the one shot, because the one shot kind of did like a sped up version of sort of the whole story. Because I guess they had the one shot to just pitch the idea, and then they retold the story from the beginning for the rest of the series.
Yeah,
and. Man, it's one of those things where like you kind of want to treat treat each other better. Like it made me realize that we should really treat each other better just from reading the one shot.
Right.
Because children are just terrible. Like they are like bullying or
also, if you don't know what a one shot is, it's a manga which essentially one chapter, right?
Yeah.
And it tries to get across an entire story.
Exactly. It's sort of like an audition piece for like a series, because it ended up getting the rest of the. I don't even remember how many chapters or even volumes it was. It was a good long read, but when reading that, there are moments where I will admit that I almost cried, just because it was just very powerful. Like there were very powerful moments.
Still a little sick.
A little bit. There are a lot of moments where it shows the greediness of humanity, that
right.
like especially with those who are like suicide, those who contemplated suicide and all that. That's brought up right in the very beginning of the story, and like even with just making friends or not having friends at all. But reading, if you want my opinion. Reading A Silent Voice would actually benefit you even more, because I would actually take the movie as a completely separate entity, because the movie did its own thing in a good way, whereas a manga is its own experience. Reading the manga itself would be a whole different experience than watching the movie. I would recommend both, but they're both different experiences altogether.
Shit, I don't know if I want to do that, because like the movie was rough enough. I mean. It definitely wasn't one of the worst emotional experiences I've had with an anime, but like, because I didn't quit, but it did get heavy quite a few times, and there was a lot of points where I was just like pissed off at characters, which is good. You should feel emotion if you feel an emotion for characters, that means that they're doing a good job, whether you hate them or you love them, or I mean, hate because of who they are, not necessarily like. Oh, you hate them because they're just like a bad character, badly written and stuff like that. But hate because the way they're portrayed literally makes you want to kill them. Such as my feeling for fuckface in School Days. But anyway.
That's a classic right there.
Yep.
That's finally a game for us, but...
Well...
a visual novel, but...
Regardless, I was just specifically saying that if you hate a character because of who they are, not how they were written, is a good sign that they're done well, because you're supposed to hate them. But no, there was definitely got too attached, and I don't know if I could do the manga, especially if they go into more detail and a little bit more. There's a little bit more bumps in that roller coaster. But no, that would be pretty rough. Now that I got my list up here, I'm looking at it. Now this is stuff that I haven't like looked at in a while. Mm-hmm. But like, I remember now that I've read all of Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, which was pretty popular for its time. It's a pretty old. It's an oldie. Like, how long is this? 230 chapters? 233 chapters. And I read them all. Like, this is before, like, I decided to just read manga online. I had this little library somewhere, and they just so happened to have everything. And I was like, I'm a young weeb. I like things. I'm gonna go and rent all this manga, or lease out all this manga. Yeah, and right. I would often just come out of this place like, I'm pretty sure they hated me because I'd be there like every week. I would come out with like 30 books, and like the bag that some libraries gives you like this little cloth bag. Mm. Like the bag would practically be ripping because I got so much.
Oh man!
Like I would get like 10 volumes of not 10 volumes, like 5 volumes of Tsubasa. I used to read Shugo Chara, which is this really super shoujo, like you can super duper shoujo magical girl anime or manga and anime. And like I used to read rented One Piece.
Man, you had all that?
Yeah.
The library. See, whenever I went to my library, the first manga exposure I got was Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that's all they had was Yu-Gi-Oh manga, and it wasn't even complete. It was just like in the middle of like duels and stuff like that. And that's,
I don't know. I guess I got lucky.
Yeah, right.
Because like when the first time I went there, I was like, all right, they had like at least like 3 rows, mm-hmm. or
like shelves.
No, 2 rows. So 1 full shelf front and back, mm-hmm. half of one, and then one mixed with like other comics and manga. And the first time I went there, I was like, all right, I want to get into something, because my mom was there for some reason, and I was just up there like, I'm gonna thumb through some stuff. I don't know what. And then I rented my first few. I'm like, all right, I'm hooked. And then I remember that I used to watch One Piece on Toonami, and I wanted to get back into it because, as much as a lot of people hate it for the animation and whatnot, but I loved it. But I wanted to skip all the boring shit,
right? Which
was essentially the Alabasta arc for One Piece. Fuck you too if you saying fuck you to me. But I just hated that arc. But I essentially jumped in right after that. And luckily they had the manga right where that started. And I just started sweeping off the shelves since then. And I mean that's probably what got me into reading manga the most these days. Because before I never touched it because I don't know why, I just never did.
I mean, I guess it's just lack of exposure.
I guess lack of exposure. I mean, I was in my full anime circle by then. Right. Or whatever. I was fully into it then, but I just wasn't into the manga aspect. But no, that's probably definitely when I first really got into it. Now I just have a whole bunch of weird shit
just backed up
here that I don't remember if I'm ever gonna finish. Probably not.
Now, just curious, are we counting manhwa as well? The Korean, like, so for those who don't know, manhwas are essentially they're Korean webcomics.
Yeah.
It's essentially a very similar format, except they're usually based on like apps. Like for example, I use a webtoon, for example.
Yeah, same. And
I read a couple of manhwas there, and I've actually completed a few. So I wanted to know if we wanted to include that.
I don't know. Like, I'm not the authority on this one here, because
there are some really good ones I would like to recommend.
There certainly are. I finished. I know for a fact I finished one. I haven't read that many. Well, I guess I've read a lot because of the app. Mm-hmm. But hey, if you want to sponsor,
but insert pointing fingers.
There you go. What is it? I forgot what I was gonna say.
Webtoon and all that.
Yes.
You finished one. You said.
Yeah, I finished this one called Girls of the Wild.
Oh, I'm still in the middle of that right now. It's a weird motivational read.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really into it. I caught up. Oh no, I didn't catch up, but I gotta finish it. Like,
it's done now. It finished
years ago, right?
2016, I think.
Oh, a year ago. Okay.
2 years ago.
Right, 2018. Man, I still think we're in 2017. Okay.
But that one's pretty good. I've noticed this about manhwa. So they're either very anime like. For example, Girls of the Wild there's this all girls school that recently became co-ed, and one guy got into the school, but surprise, this school is like famous for martial arts, and it's the best school in Japan for female martial
Korea.
arts. In Korea, Korea. Right, that's the difference. It's Korea instead of Japan. So forgive me if I get that mixed up a little bit.
It's just like, and when reading like manhwas, you just have to get used to like reading Korean names instead.
Right. Honestly, unfortunately, I don't remember the names as well as I would if they were Japanese. So like, if you asked me what a character's name was, I couldn't tell you, except for one that we're both reading called Lookism. But we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, it follows the basic anime style where guy gets into the all-girl school. They're all like super strong martial artists, barely been exposed to men, so they're all chasing him. And then he gets his little harem going.
Yeah, and then he's learning how to fight.
He's learning how to fight
because he's weak. He's
real weak. In fact, he's a victim of bullying.
Yeah,
a lot when he was in middle school.
You know, bullying is quite a trend in a lot of these manhwas I've noticed.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I mean, it's been an anime, but it's never been like the main, like, this is
not just that, but there's never been like a lot of focus on it in like Japanese mediums,
or at least not that
I've seen.
I guess we've noticed, but
because they really like to emphasize some of the bullying aspects in certain manhwas,
right? Especially
Lookism,
which is not really similar, but like this short, fat, ugly guy named Daniel. That's another weird thing. It's like his name is Daniel. In my head, that's like straight American, but like I think it's fully pronounced Daniel, isn't it?
I think so. I can only assume so.
Right.
Because it's like, what is it? What's his full name? It's like
Daniel Park.
Yeah, there you go.
And that sounds like the most American name I've ever heard.
Maybe I question the Park part because I'm familiar with like Korean shit. But
yeah, Park is. I now know that Park is a very common last name in Korea. I guess South Korea. I don't know about the North.
I mean, I guess they have a very similar language system.
I would assume they'd be the exact same culture if one wasn't being led by a dictator.
There you go. It'd be like Kim Jong Park. There you go. Don't nuke us.
But yeah, so it follows the story of like the short, fat, ugly kid who's hella bullied in middle school. It
was middle school first. So. Because he goes into high school trying to like change his life.
Right. So he's super bullied in middle school. Like he at bottom of the fucking barrel. Like they would beat the shit out of him, make him pretend he's Pikachu.
Yeah.
Also, there are a lot of liberties here. Maybe it's because it's a webcomic that they can take these liberties, but like they don't.
They don't fuck around.
They don't fuck around with like product placement.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so he got basically the piss taken out of him, and then he wanted to do his high school debut and have a normal high school life, but he like something weird happens and he wakes up with this new body that's like hot, like tall, strong, and like essentially he looks like a male supermodel in Korea,
right?
And like but his other body's still there. So like when one falls asleep, the other one's awake. So he starts to plan his high school life around this phenomenon, and I mean it's been going on for a really long time. We're still reading it. I have a feeling it's coming to a close. Maybe
I would like it for it too, because it's. I mean, I haven't kept up to date, but I'm at a point right now that so far is leading up to something so far that I can feel that because the whole thing is sort of like a self-confidence self-confidence lesson,
right.
And as time goes on, and even though Daniel like goes back and forth with his body, he starts to become more confident with his original body itself, like the short fat one, you know. And
I mean, he's also helping his friends do it, because there's another guy that's a short, fat, and ugly. Yeah. But you know,
he's a rapper, right?
He's a rapper, right? Yeah. Daniel used his hot body to help him become popular. And I mean that might have been what sparked the popularity, because he was there. He was able to gain his own popularity as a rapper, because he's a pretty damn good rapper. But because he's short, fat, and ugly, no one wants him.
No one really takes him seriously until he starts, like rapping bars and crap, and it's like, oh my god.
And so yeah, it's hella inspirational, and I do like the way it goes, because it's just not doing the whole like shallow. Oh, I'm only gonna do things when I'm hot, not otherwise.
Not care about the body.
Right, like you said, he's gaining this self-respect.
Right, and some of it gets really emotional too, because especially with like there's a lot of parts where he's very like, I wouldn't say reliant, but he's very close with his mother.
Oh my god, his mother. Jesus Christ. She's like mom of the fucking century. Oh my god. Like anytime she's fucking in the story, I start to tear up, because she's just, oh my god, she is so fucking self-sacrificing. Right, exactly.
And it's like it's a little bit of a like a eye opener, because like, you know, there's a point this is in the beginning, but there's a point where like he even treats his mother badly because of the other kids. It's like the cycle of hate. Yeah. Where like, because people shit on him, he has to vent out, and he shits on his mother. Yeah. And then that's not how it should go. You know, we should all treat each other well, and he learns that when he learns some of that when he has his hot body, but because of that, he also starts becoming more self-confident with his original body, and starts even helping out. Like, even has like a girl crushing on his original body.
He does, which I think like that's awesome. Like, I love this. I love it. But like, I don't know. It's been going on for a while now. I'm pretty caught up with it right now, because I have it up. My phone lets me know when anytime it updates. Yeah. It's probably got like 2 or 3 more arcs before they get to the meat of the ending, or at least the start of the end. Because right now I think they're gonna do some like gang war thing.
Okay. So far, my favorite one is what's his name? He's the engineering.
Vasco,
yeah.
Vasco, he's my boy.
He's the coolest mofo in the whole thing so far. Just because like how like he's got like a weird like aura about him.
He's like this really big, tall, intimidating dude. Like this is maybe a little racist, but like in the manhwa, he kind of looks. Well, he's got this mustache that kind of makes him look Mexican for some reason. That's just to me. I don't know why. But, like, he's just this big, tough-looking, intimidating-ass motherfucker. Like, he's fucking jacked. Like, and he's the leader of the gang at his school called the Burn Knuckles. But he's just this sweetheart. Like, he's essentially a child with a golden heart.
Right, exactly. And he just doesn't do wrong.
He can't. Like, he's just... I love him. Like, Jesus Christ. I would love him to be my for him to be my best friend. He's
exactly.
He's almost like a big ass scary puppy, but he's like you walk through a door, it's like, hey, how you doing? You're great. You're the best person ever. Like that.
He'll want you to pet him.
Right. He'll want you to pet him, and then if anyone does wrong by you, he will rip their throat out. Like.
Right. Exactly. Like he recognizes good, despite how you look or anything like that. Like he recognizes like Daniel's original body. You know. Right.
Well, I guess it's a little bit of spoiler, but he's actually training Daniel's original body so that he can get in shape.
Yeah. Exactly. So again, it's called Lookism.
Right.
Check it out. It's really good. It's still going, but you'll have a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, there's
hundreds of chapters
so far. Yeah.
Now turn it down a notch a little bit. There's another manhwa I want to recommend that I finished. I don't know if you've read into it, but I would recommend it. It's called Bastard.
I've heard of that one.
Now, this is a psychological horror.
Oh boy.
It's not only dramatic though, but it's really intense. So the story follows a young boy, and the way the story goes is, this young boy has to lives his everyday life with his father that is a serial killer. That's the basic premise of it.
Okay. All right.
And that whole thing is he's trying to find himself into this whole thing because he essentially helps his father kill, like, it's mostly women, and it's just that trend. It's just this weird, messed up like partnership, like he'll like play like this like sweet little boy, and then somehow his father will like come in, play a little father game and all that, invite him over, and then all of a sudden the little boy comes out with a fucking sledgehammer and bam, just knocks him out, and then the father like does some weird torture shit. But the thing is though, the little boy hates his father because of this.
Right.
And it's sort of a plot to get himself out. And what I can tell you right now without spoiling anything, it's really good. Because there's a lot of good amount of tension. There's some twists. There's some like weird there's some weird dynamics with different characters, and you start seeing like the arc of the boy. I'll just say this much: his arc goes in a direction which you never thought it would. And also the ending. The ending is actually quite surprising. Not in a bad way though.
But I mean, okay? So not in a bad way. Like it's not a bad ending. It's not like
I don't want to spoil. I want you to read it too, but like I also want everyone else to read it. But it's called Bastard. So it's a psychological horror. Like again, it's this kid who hates his father because he's a serial killer, but he can't tell anyone because he's also essentially an accomplice.
Right.
And he helps his father out with these murders and all that, but he hates him, and it's just like it's like whenever they're in the same room, they just can't. He can't even even the father can't they just can't stand each other being in the same like house or an apartment. But when they're out catching recruiting victims and all that, they're like, "Oh, hey son, how are you doing?" Like, Dad, what are you doing? Get off of me! Yeah. That's all that's all a spiel though. It's all an act.
I don't know. I feel like if a child went to the police and said, "My dad's making me kill people," they take the child's side.
Well, I don't even know, because even in the U.S., they technically can't take child testimonies. They can't take it as an actual valid testimony because
I guess, but like if
legal reasons, like
if you came out with proof, like let's say you set up a hidden camera of you doing this, like they can't. You
would think that the father is actually really good. He's really smart, and he knows how it all works. And it's the frustration because the kid's trying to get out, but his father's always like one step ahead of him. And then there's this small arc with him liking a girl, and then the father's like, "Oh, who's that girl of yours? She reminds me of her mother." you know, and you can just see like the hatred coming out of this boy's eyes.
Right.
It's like, what are you thinking? What are you doing?
Right.
It's like I'm just commenting. I think nothing of it. It's a really good thriller manhwa. It's called Bastard. The creator even recently started a new one. It's called Sweet Home. I haven't read it yet, but I would recommend reading Bastard. It's done. It's a few hundred like chapters and all that.
Yeah.
But it's a good it's a good read if you want something like exciting and just kind of like on the edge of your seat kind of thing. Like I read this back when I was working as a security in the guard booth, and I binged through that entire thing in my 8-hour shift, and man, I couldn't get over the ending. I honestly couldn't. But it's not in a bad way. It was surprising because I didn't think it would take a turn how it did. I would recommend it.
It does sound interesting. It's just like I said, I'm a little bitch. I can't.
It's not dramatic. It's not dramatic in any way. It's just like high tension.
Even if it's not dramatic, like remember I couldn't do 11 Eyes because it was like it got so negative.
That's true.
Like I couldn't handle that.
Yeah, like everything was being backed up in a corner, and it's like the anxiety kind of kicks in.
Right. Well, it's mostly because of the anxiety. Like if we had a like, I guess you can't have drama without tension.
Right.
But like, if let's say Clannad had the exact same story, but there was none of the tension.
I guess it'd be like your standard like sort of romance story, wouldn't it?
Just kind of shit went down, but like it was a little more lighthearted than it was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have shed a tear. Like I would have.
You wouldn't be this afraid of Key.
Right. I wouldn't be this afraid of Key, but like, it's the tension that fucking gets me. Like I don't want to know what happens next because my brain's churning out all these possibilities, and I don't want to find out which one's right.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I probably won't, I might not predict the twist, but I usually am able to predict how most things are gonna go. I mean, but then again, that's how it works whenever you read something like that.
Because sometimes when you read something like, especially if it's like a horror thriller, you kind of want like a good outcome.
Right. Well, I mean, I feel like that's just conditioning.
No, that's true.
Because most stories end happily.
Right.
So you kind of hope things work out, but when things don't, you're just like, I don't know. Yeah. Because if you know things won't work out. Well, then again, that could intrigue, in a sense, because we mentioned it before that I started with the ending of School Days.
Yeah.
Like I've watched the first episode. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a lighthearted whatever anime.
Yeah.
And then I saw a comment saying that, oh, he get fucked up in the ending. I'm like, what? Like, what happened? So I foolishly watched a clip, the last scene of the last episode of School Days. I'm like, oh my fucking god, how did we get here? And it like that intrigued me through. I'm like,
the progression of hate.
I'm like,
yeah.
And then so I guess that's why it made, that's what kept me through. I mean, I probably would have watched it regardless, even if I hadn't seen the ending, but
it probably would have caught you off guard.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily off guard, but like you probably would have would be egging it on, and then it would have been like a satisfying.
No, that would have been hella satisfying. But I guess I was still pretty satisfied because now I knew he was gonna die.
Yeah.
Well, I spoiled the ending for you, but spoiler, he dies. But hey, now you get the same experience I did. He gets fucked up in the end.
There you go. You didn't have the experience like me, because I didn't. I was a fool. I was just an ignorant fool that kind of just went along with it. And when the moment happened, I had to pause the video and be like, "Oh shit!
Yeah.
Turn around! Turn around!"
Why were you rooting for him to turn around?
I don't know. Human life is a precious thing, even though he was an asshole.
Not his.
No, yeah, true. But it was those situations where like I didn't think it would go this far, and I was like, man, again, this scarred me for like a season.
I mean, I feel like No, never mind. Shit didn't really hit the fan until that happened, and everything else just kind of fell out.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of just literally just gushed out.
Yeah.
With feelings and escalated from there, and then the happy boat scene and.
Yeah, there was that anime went some places, and the manga, the visual novel goes in even further. But we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of interesting things out there, especially if you were scared to get into Manhwa before because you didn't want to take the dip into the Korean side of Asian things. Mm-hmm. You should.
I mean, it's not really a difference in reading format either.
Well, actually, no, it is kind of because they do their comics differently. It's like
it's a one-time scroll, but like it's minor differences. Like for example, you know how you read manga from right to left? Yeah. It's left to right for manhwas.
Yeah. So
and then it's just like a one continuous scroll.
Right.
So
or I guess depending on where you read it.
On your smartphone.
Fucking webtoon. No, yeah, never mind. It's a continuous scroll.
Yeah.
Same difference. Never mind. It's not panel by panel. It's kind of like. It's different. It's not.
It's a strip.
It's a strip. It's like
strip,
there's no dividing. There's no real.
There's no page. Yeah. Right. There's no actual page. It's just like one long strip. They kind of have to scroll into the story.
Right.
Like a strip of panels.
It's actually really cool because there's no real dividing line, but that separates scenes. It just kind of keeps going,
and it works in some ways.
It really works, yeah.
Because sometimes they even transition. It's like for the the scroll and all that.
Right.
It's fascinating.
Because I'm reading one called I don't remember what it's called, but it involves like this ghost girl. And these group of people that like hunt ghosts and phantoms and shit with these cameras.
Oh.
And you capture their soul and you essentially enslave them to work for you. But the
manhwa?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is. I'm not sure. Probably not.
No.
I don't remember what it's called. It's like crows something. The hunters are called crows and they hunt ghosts. Go look that up. You'll find it.
Yeah.
But it does a similar thing. Maybe it's because it's just a webcomic. I don't know. But like it does the cool transition thing where it's like all one page, and instead of separate panels, it's just kind of a scene as it goes. I don't know. It's weird. You should check it out. If you're looking to start, Lookism and Girls of the Wild
and
are
Bastard.
A good start. And Bastard if you're brave.
Bastard if you want to start with something a little spicy.
Well, I guess a little spicy, yeah.
Yeah, you know, something to get your like just edge off the seat kind of thing. You know.
Well, I wanted to say specifically Girls of the Wild because if you're really used to how animes go, that one is essentially
that'd be a standard progression.
Yeah, standard progression, and then I guess you can go to a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. So I mean. You can use different kinds of apps. We both personally use Webtoon.
Yeah, which is pretty good. It has actually a lot of webcomics.
Yeah,
I mean it's all webcomics.
Yeah, it's all webcomics, really.
It's just an app filled with a bunch of shit, and I'm reading quite a few.
Right, and Webtoon, if you're listening,
we're both real satisfied with your app.
Yeah,
I don't know how you make money, but hey,
just hit us up. You know, I mean, maybe we'll make a Webtoon comic too, and probably not. No, but
I can't draw.
But if you're in town, we are open to talk.
Yeah.
Insert finger guns.
Yeah. And tweet at them. We should tweet at them.
What, Webtoon?
Yeah.
Probably. We should probably tweet at them.
I don't know.
Follow us on Twitter, Webtoon. We'll follow you.
Yeah, we'll hopefully we'll slide into them DMs.
Yeah, we'll slide in them DMs and we'll Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Or no, Crunchyroll and chill. Or Crunchyroll and what's the Wii version of it?
Awkwardly sit in silence.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
Those are the mangas we read.
Well, we didn't really talk about the manga. We touched on the manga a little bit. What did we say?
For manga?
Yeah.
I mean,
you mentioned the lesbian one.
Yeah, I mentioned the lesbian one. I talked about Silent Voice. Those are the ones I finished.
Right.
I finished that I can recall at the moment.
If you want a real interesting kind of freaky one, there's this one manga that I read called N Fran.
I feel like I've heard of that.
You might have. I guess it's like popular with like gory people that like gore.
Oh.
It's pretty fucked up. Like it's like, so the story generally, this honestly might just become a manga episode because there's a lot of good manga out there. Like there's a lot of stuff that I was like really recommend you guys read, and I'm not talking about just like generic stuff like whatever, but like just kind of out there stuff. So like N Fran is essentially a manga about this girl that was made by the scientist. You never see the scientist, but she was made by the scientist, and she is like super hella advanced in medical, quote unquote medical procedures, and she can essentially like bring back the dead. She can like almost cure any disease, but everything usually has a caveat because she takes a lot of liberty. Well, not necessarily liberties. She takes the necessary steps to keep you alive. For example, there was one where I think there was a cave-in or something. No, it wasn't a cave-in. The doctor that made her is extremely like super popular in medical circles because he again can like he's better than her and his shit's like he can fucking make whale people or whatever. I don't know. But,
that sounds impressive.
But these organizations were trying to attack her to make her do shit for them.
Right.
But her guards killed them all brutally. But one of them was like, I'm sorry, I want to live, and she's like, all right, I guess you asked nicely, and she got to work on them, and she didn't like bring them back to life normally. She had to like sew them all together in this weird, freaky way. Like their bodies are all weird, combined stitches and arms just kind of everywhere, and then they were just forever in pain because they're just this stitched together amalgamation of bullshit, and she just keeps them at her lab, or they might have died. I don't know.
That sounds like a lovely visual.
There's no lovely visuals. It's all weird, fucked up shit like that.
Oh man.
There was one that was like, wow. I sound weird, but there was one where she made this octopus. No. This guy's younger sister died, and he loved the hell out of her, banking on incest a little bit. And he wanted N Fran to bring her back to life. So she did using octopus cells or something like that. And octopi are very intelligent creatures. And it turned like so she makes her out of octopi and stuff. No, that's not what happened. Or sort of, I guess it is. Whatever. So he brought her back. She's essentially a head with like little tentacles.
Oh man.
And she can't really talk that well, but it seems like she responds to everything he says, and it seems like it's his actual little sister. But she starts to grow, and she gets more limbs, and she starts to actually fill out a body. And what you kind of find out by the end of that, because it's done like little kind of one-shot stories that don't have that much continuity.
Like chapters? Like, is it like per chapter?
It's per chapter, but they're all kind of individual stories.
Okay.
Some of them tie together. If this one tied in all the other ones, then the world's fucked. Because this octopus now kind of has human intelligence, it was manipulating him to think that was actually his younger sister, and like tricked him into breeding with it.
Oh wow.
Which in turn so after he did that, the octopus killed him, but because what is it, millions of sperm in one shoot?
Whatever. Humans or talking about octopi?
Humans.
Oh, okay.
Used essentially every single sperm cell that he gave, that the guy gave to the octopus to create millions of children that kind of filled this room, and it hinted that they were all gonna essentially be similar to this new octopus creature, and effectively they were gonna take over the world.
You know, I don't even want to imagine what the visuals of any of this look like.
There's no brutal, though. It's pretty brutal. There's a lot of gore, and there's a lot of pretty fucked up images, but like there's no like.
What got you into it? Like, was it the octopus?
No, okay. It's pretty typical.
Okay.
I saw an image of a girl with really big boobs, and this happened like really early, like I think first chapter when Fran transferred into a high school,
right?
Where all the kids found out that she was this great doctor, and they kept asking her favors, and one of the girls wanted super huge titties, and she gave them to her.
And that kickstarted you.
I saw that image and I was like, all right, I'm reading this. I don't know what it's about, but I literally just saw that one image out of context. I'm like, that's the one I'm reading this. And then I was taken for a journey that I didn't expect, because that was the only part that was even remotely like that.
You're right, exactly.
Yes. So,
what's it called again?
Frank and Fran.
Frank and Fran. All right, keep that in mind, guys.
Franken, like Frankenstein. Frank and Fran. Yeah.
Frank and Fran.
It's.
Now I want to piggyback on your theme here a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's a manga that I think it's done actually. Actually, no, yeah.
Oh, by the way, Frank and Fran is done.
Okay.
I think it ended in a weird kind of not way, but it's done. I think. I hope. Probably not. So piggybacking up on our theme right here. Mm-hmm. There's a psychological horror manga that I've read, and it's called Mahou Shoujo of the End. I was reading that one, I think. I think I was reading that one.
It's the one where like magical girls, quote unquote magical girls, start appearing
out of the sky. They were all like weird and fucked up.
And then they start killing people.
Yeah, I started reading that one some time ago. I forgot what it was called.
So, as you already know, as the whole premise is that you get the main character. You get this main character dude. Starts off with a normal high school kind of feel. You get a crush on some girl. You know, basic shoujo, shonen shoujo kind of romance stuff.
The beginning of it. It's actually just the general feel of it reminded me of High School of the Dead.
Oh really? Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, because of like the sudden like drop of like reality.
Yeah.
And then this all happens in like the first chapter. And one day while he's in class, like he sees like this giant like portal thing in the sky kind of just pop up, and then he looks out, and then there's this little girl out in like the front gate, and then she just fucking kills like a teacher, like a teacher like doing with patrol.
Well, they if I remember correctly, they saw her, went out and they asked her some questions, and she just fucking slaughtered them.
Yeah, exactly. And then and for some reason it ended up being in this classroom.
Yeah.
And what really intrigued me was like the visuals, like the visuals of this thing is like it's grotesque, but it's like it's interesting to look at visually. Like
it's definitely a very interesting animation style, but art style.
And if you're of a squeamish heart and also weak of heart, there's a lot of like really mature themes in here. Like there's rape, there's a lot of killing. There's also they censor it, but there's like fallacies and there's fallacies like dicks and all of that, and breasts, and there's a lot of uncomfortabilities.
Oh yeah,
reading it, but like it's a weird it's a psychological horror, but it's also an adventure in a sense, because the main character is trying to figure out how and why everything is happening.
While he's traveling with this group of survivors.
Yeah, this group of survivors. One of them including the crush of the girl he has a crush on, and it's a really interesting read just because it's one of those like oh shit moments, and just like you said, it's like just like High School of the Dead.
Except way less etchy.
Way less.
Well,
etchy.
it takes its like nudity and stuff seriously when it shows it.
Yeah, but like. It puts them in like a really bad position where they have to adapt and just deal with it, and there's just like I guess the one that's the most memorable is this giant buff like. So what's attacking all these people are magical girls, which are just these weird, grotesque, like, beings that have abilities that hunt for human blood and all that.
Or whatever. Like, I don't know what reason. I didn't get that far in it.
But yeah, for some reason they're hunting humans down, and it's just a giant like hunting spree.
Yeah. And it's really cool. Like essentially every magical girl, quote unquote, has their own appearance. Like there was the one that first appeared, which is essentially looked like a kind of gothic Lolita magical girl that was just murdering people with, I think, just regular weapons or something.
Yeah, pretty standard looking.
Pretty standard looking. And then there's one where it doesn't really have a physical form. It's like a disease.
Yeah.
That like. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, when you, like, they did a really close-up on one of, like, the cells of it or whatever, and it was the face of a girl, like, a little girl, but, like, everywhere, because it was some weird murdery disease, and then there was the one you mentioned where it was the big buff thing, but it had this little weird head of again little girl. It's just like really fucking.
It was like a chibi head style, like big eyes and all that, but like had like a ripped like the Rock body.
I don't even say the Rock. It was like one of those big grotesque ripped. Yeah. Like it looks like it's gonna fucking grab your head and rip it apart.
And it probably does do that.
It probably does do that, exactly, because. I would imagine that's the point of that one, and it was so fucking weird. But I got to get back into that one because it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Actually, when I was in Asen, they had that in the manga library, and I revisited it. And I'm like, wow, this is brought me back a little bit, and that's something I recommend. It's called Mahou Shoujo of the End.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna start reading that.
Great
one
read.
That was fucking goony.
Now. There's one more I want to mention.
Yeah.
I finished this one as well. So this sort of drifts off from a little bit. If you notice, a lot of the interesting ones I like to finish are like these weird kind of dark ones.
Were you gonna mention Oritama?
Huh? You mean also Midori?
No, Oritama.
What's Oritama?
My balls.
Oh! Let me get to that. We gotta get a hentai plug in there. Technically, it's not even a hentai.
I mean, it's not. It's pretty close.
We gotta get our porn plug in here. But before we get there, so there's a manga that I've read. I had a really weird experience with this one because I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
But it's one of those like I kind of feel sticky, but it's not bad. Let me get to that. Let me get to that. It's uncomfortable.
Okay.
So the manga is called Kouharo no Hibi, and John, look at this. Just look at the cover.
All right.
It's like pink. You got a cute girl in front.
So it looks cute.
There's like hearts and shit, and I'm not about to tell you that it's some like weird like horror psychological death trap. No. It's actually a romance, school life, slice of life. Like manga.
Okay.
Now the trope with this one is the main hero. The story is about a guy and a girl, right?
Yeah, okay.
So like any other romance story.
Right. Pretty standard so far.
And it's about, in this case, it's actually about a girl getting a guy, but the main character is the guy.
All right. So it's about her pursuing him. Okay,
yeah, it's about her pursuing him.
All right, well, now that's how some harem mangas go.
The way this works is that she's actually a yandere.
Oh.
But not a hardcore yandere. She's actually a very softcore yandere.
Okay.
But she has the quality of the yandere where it's obsessive. So let me run down how the first chapter goes. They have the main character. The main character waiting in the train station for school. It's his first day of high school and all that. And then you have the main heroine reading her book and all that. And essentially, what is it? I can't fully remember, but something goes down to the point where the girl ends up like falling over or something, or like she trips up.
Yeah.
And then the guy kind of helps her.
Right.
Gives
Standard,
standard romance stuff.
Yeah.
gives her like a handkerchief to like dust herself off and all that. And that's how their first interaction is.
Yeah.
Now, because of that, she falls in love with him. Like,
as it happens.
Like hard.
Oh.
As in like hard. Because now, whenever she goes home, she goes with him to the station. Mm-hmm. They take the train to his stop. Mm-hmm. And so they're together. They're together. Mm-hmm. Until they get to his stop. And then she goes back home, which is on the other side of town.
Oh.
So she purposely stays with him that entire time. And she's actually underclass. It's her first date because she's an underclassman. Okay. So he's her senpai.
Okay.
It's one of those situations, and I don't know if this is spoilery, but he thinks well of her. She's a cute girl. She's and all that. She's really nice and all that. And one day he goes in early for school for day duty and all that, and then he catches her sitting in his desk playing the what's it called, the flute thing, the recorder, but she's not playing it. She's actually slurping it and actually fondling it with her mouth, calling out her senpai's name.
Oh,
like doing it on his desk.
So that's probably his recorder.
Yes, that's actually his recorder. And that's not the weird part. That's not the weird part.
Well, I mean, we've seen that before.
We've seen that before. It's an obsessive quality, but
obsessive quality.
No, obsessive quality.
Oh yeah.
And as they start hanging out and all, he kind of ignores this because he does ignore it because
that's weird. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't even mention it because he looks at the recorders like. He just washes it, puts it down, and doesn't think anything of it.
What kind of normal person would see that? I'm like, fucking every day, I guess.
And then one day, they're both hanging out and all that.
Wait, did she notice him or?
What do you mean? No, not at all. She doesn't notice him at all.
Okay. And
then one day they're hanging out. They're just out in the park. They get some drinks. Yeah. They both finish their drinks, and then after the day's done, they go their separate ways. He forgets something at the park where they're hanging out at, and then he sees her digging around the garbage for some reason. Yeah. And it turns out she was actually looking for the bottle that he drank out of, so that she can keep it as a collection, so that she can also practice kissing it. Yep. Kissing him with using the bottle as a source. Yep. And she does this with everything that he throws away. Everything he throws away.
So we're fully exploring that relationship.
And he's like, this is weird. I wonder why she's doing this. This is what he's saying to himself. Like, this is really weird. Why are you doing this? Like, because she actually does confess, but he's just nonchalant about it because he doesn't think of it too seriously. At the beginning, at least, in the very beginning.
Wait, so what? Do they actually start dating after she confesses, or is he like?
No, he's like, oh, that's nice. Like he does that kind of thing.
He does the main character thing.
He does the main character thing, and kind of he blows over all the weirdness to a certain degree. I want to
find out that he's weird in some way.
No, not really.
He's just a normal, weird, strangely oblivious person.
Yes, exactly. It's a fun read because it was a fun read to me because it's you kind of like watch him go through all this and he thinks nothing of it. At first, for a while, and it gets dramatic to a certain point, but not too dramatic. It doesn't get really dramatic to a really high point, but there are tensions. But then it's a bittersweet ending. You end up getting like it's one of those endings where you're satisfied it ended up like this, but you question it. You question the good ending, not in a way where it's like haunting, but you question like the ethics of it. You question you just question if you're really satisfied with it, because again she's all for him, but he's like, back up, girl. Let me take some breathing room.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
But it's one of those things where it's like the what is it? Push comes to shove. Like the more you push, the more they'll like you. Like they'll eventually like you. You just gotta like do it. And take all the things that they drink out of, suck on their recorder, and like.
No, that's not what you do. Oh, it's only four volumes.
Yeah, so I don't know how many chapters it is per volume, but.
Okay.
Great read. It's a pretty medium read.
I'm gonna check it out. It sounds interesting. I'm gonna try to read Bastard.
But that's something I would recommend. It's a fun read. It's just weird. That's just it. You know, it's a weird how the main character kind of goes along with it. That's what I was having a weirdness with it. Because I feel like any normal person would like catch that red flag
immediately the first time.
The first time and like just call them out on it and not be oblivious about it.
Or at least like, well. Okay, yeah.
Or at least show some concern. He didn't show any concern at all.
Like, just like, so, what's going on here?
Yeah, like...
I mean, then she might confess, maybe. But then...
You know, when it comes to digging crap out of the garbage, I'm like, no, please don't.
Right.
Throw that out. We don't need this in our life. You don't need this in your life. I don't need this in my life. Can't we just go home?
But then, the more you push away...
The more she pushes back.
Right. And I don't know how it ends, but I feel like if it went the direction where he doesn't like her back ever, then she's just gonna follow him for the rest of his life.
Yeah. And
then who knows if we're hoping that you said she's not the violent type.
She's not the violent type. She's the obsessive type.
But like if he starts to like someone else, what?
The thing is, he has a childhood friend, which is a girl. So when that arc starts, it starts getting a little bit juicy, because that's when the little bit of drama kind of happens.
Right.
Because then she starts talking about firsts, and then Andre girl is like, this and
I can imagine.
It's something to delve into if you just like weird people and oblivious main characters.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't like oblivious main characters because it keeps a story going for no like good reason.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this guy is a fucking idiot. Like, obviously the guy in this manga is an idiot. Like, there's no way that wouldn't immediately set off a red flag.
Especially that first time with the recorder.
Especially the first time. And then there's other animes like anime and manga called Kanokon.
Oh, I remember. That's a classic.
That is a classic. I mean, it's an ecchi, really ecchi.
Really ecchi.
But
I wouldn't recommend watching this with anyone else around you.
No, definitely not. But it's the main character. I mean, he wasn't necessarily oblivious. He was just.
I mean, he was sort of like what was it? Untrained. Like, he's not used to it.
Right. He was super conservative about it. Is that what it would be?
Yeah, like, he was shy.
He was super shy.
I mean, he was a shota. He was a shota.
He was a shota type, yeah.
So
where he just kept like trying to push away, but again,
big titties got nothing on me at this point.
Right. But a lot of people get tired of those super either dense characters that don't get it, or the ones that push away really, really hard. And it's like, bruh, you're abusing something that anyone would love. And then when we see it get abused in other anime. Looking at you, School Days. But
to drift up a little bit, I want to talk about a little gem that I would like to call My Balls. Now, is
that how you wanted to present that?
I'm going to bring it up like that, yes.
You go for it.
So, My Balls is the English title to a super ecchi manga.
Super ecchi.
Like,
borderline hentai.
Borderline hentai. You got titties hanging out. You got, like... You got dick rings,
all right,
cock rings.
Keep it PG.
We got phallus rings.
I don't know.
We got gods. We got demons. We got gods. We got demons. We got the sake of the world relying on testicles.
Yeah.
So let me break it down. Let me break it down for y'all. All right. So there's a little manga that I came across. I think, were you the ones that brought it up to me?
No, you told me. You definitely told me about it.
I told you about it. Okay, so I came across this little manga. This is back in high school. I finished this back in high school, but it was a good read because it was hilarious.
Right. I don't know if I'd say it's a gut buster, but it's pretty goddamn.
It's
funny.
A nut buster. I'll say that much. A ball buster. But essentially, the main premise of this super ecchi manga is that you have this main character who was unfortunate enough to have Satan essentially sealed within one of his testicles, and because of that, Satan the whole premise of that point after that is Satan relinquishing all of its minions to go and find this man and have him ejaculate to release Satan.
Yeah, Satan being a woman.
Satan being a woman. All of
demon lord, whatever they.
All of hell being apparently women. Yeah. Like very voluptuous, shapely women.
Well, not all of them.
Not all of them. I mean, the main demon girl was quite flat.
Speaking of, so, as like you said, the main plot was that all these demon women are after him to make him ejaculate, so that the Satan woman would be released.
Exactly.
So the first one to approach him was this like succubus in training, who was just like the kind of standard lolly type character,
and also a tsundere as well.
Tsundere, where she wasn't experienced with like sexual anything at all, but she got taxed with doing it, and essentially she stuck around so that like she's a constant in the entire manga, because her main focus at first is to like, I'm gonna do this despite how embarrassed I am.
Essentially, she's trying to jerk him off, but she can't.
Right, because she's like
inexperienced.
Scared of it.
Yeah, she's scared of it as the phallus. So. Yeah, and
it just gets real kooky because like, at a certain point, like it's kind of a spoiler, but at a certain point he gets like imbued with holy power, and he just like things. Let
me break it down, because like after the failure of like the succubus, Satan starts like summoning out different demons from hell and all that to try to seduce the man and suck him off dry.
And there's also this girl that he likes,
and so he's trying to live his normal life because he has his own problems. Like he works at a convenience store. There's this girl at the convenience store that he likes. And it's pretty obvious that she has some sort of interest towards him. Yeah. But of course he doesn't. He's pretty oblivious with all that. Yep. But now, since he has the responsibility of having his balls, he has to be essentially he has to be blue ball for the rest of his life.
Well, it wasn't the rest of his life. It was until the guy that sealed Satan into his balls figured out some way to deal with it.
So essentially, he was blue ball until they can figure that out.
Right.
Because I don't even know what the main problem was. Was it just a redirection problem?
It was,
because it was supposed to be a little sphere.
Right. It was supposed to be this like little holy ball or whatever, and this angel dude was in this little forested area where he was trying to do the sealing thing.
Was it
Michelangelo? The main character was drunk.
Oh yeah.
And wandered into the forest close to where they were, and he was peeing. And I don't exactly remember what happened, but like. The power got redirected towards his dick, and she got sealed in one of his balls.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's just this weird. It's very ecchi for one thing. Like it's borderline hentai to the point where because they actually do show sex. Yeah. But they don't actually show phalluses.
Right.
So the actual phallus.
They never show genitals, but everything else is like free game.
Yeah, everything else is free game. You got titty game. You got your floating dick syndrome. You got. It's a lot going on. I personally liked it because it was just entertaining for me. Like,
that was a ride, if anything. Like, that was a fucking... if you just want to see the goofiest thing, Like, that's definitely one of them.
And it's completed. It's done.
It's done.
You can read it all in one go. You know. I'll see. I'm not gonna lie. There are boner moments. I've had boner moments when reading it. Cause
I mean, it's like we said, it's really etchy.
Really etchy, and it's breaking it down. It's a fight of good versus evil to save the world. If you want to
don't sugarcoat it. It is exact. It knows what it is. It does what it does, and the ending's really cute.
Ending's really cute. I was even considering rereading it because I remember like I had a memory for some reason. I remembered my balls for some reason at work, and I was like, you know what? I feel like reading it again because it was a fun little journey. It was a fun little read back in high school. The ending was great. It's cute. It's one ball adventure at a time. Just one ball at a time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Is it, Jomo?
Yeah, one ball at a time. You know.
You need to stop with that. No more of these bad jokes.
Hey, we gotta put in our hentai plug, and I gotta put in some ball puns in here. All right, we gotta knock it out of the ballpark.
Absolutely despise you.
But that's a manga that I would recommend. I don't know if Jerron would recommend it.
I mean, I recommend it for a good laugh because it was genuinely like just. Cause like there's ecchi anime where it's like, oh, they'll just
it's ridiculous.
They'll just throw boobs all over you just for the sake of like, oh, it's an embarrassing whatever. No, this one just uses it to its fullest extent of comedy.
Like just from the title alone, you know they know what they're doing. Right. And the only thing I'm upset about it is that they didn't bother. It was never greenlit for any kind of animation.
It really couldn't be though.
Yeah, I mean,
it really couldn't be.
You had something like Akisora though, and that was a borderline ecchi.
Hentai.
No, technically it wasn't hentai. They never showed anything.
Borderline hentai.
It was borderline hentai. Oh yeah, it was borderline hentai.
Yeah,
and then there was incest along with it as well.
Yeah,
and
you're right. And there was another one. There was Akisora. There was another one that was similar to it.
Was it the one with the blonde kid? The blonde?
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Him and his sister.
Yeah. Or sisters.
It also has Sora in it. Or Aki in it.
Drawing a blank.
It's not Sora no
Otoshimono or something?
Yeah, it's not that one.
That's hilarious anime, by the way.
Wait, no. Akisora is the one we're thinking about.
Oh, okay.
The other one, Yotsuga no Sora.
Yotsuga no Sora. That's what it was.
That's the one.
Okay, so Yotsuga no Sora is also is a similar like theme. It's very ecchi. They do show like there's it's pretty obvious that there's sex being involved. Yeah. But they never really show anything. Right. They don't show any genitals.
Right.
And I'm surprised they didn't. I'm surprised no one tried to greenlit my balls.
If I had to get rid of those two, I definitely would have taken that one because that one's just funny.
Exactly.
It's just
I would have watched it for just the entire laughs and whatever this guy has to go through because everyone is the entirety of hell is after his balls.
And just that alone is enough to make a good enough, funny enough show.
I pray.
Like I said, I doubt it. It's old enough.
It's old enough, but I pray. I have to pray. I'm still willing to. Maybe Netflix will go on and do.
You're right, Netflix. Well, I mean, they can have nudity. So.
They can, or Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has his own thing too. They don't animate anything, but
I don't think Crunchyroll.
They can fund. They can try to fund.
I don't think they're gonna fund that. They would have to be brought to someone first, and I don't think it was popular enough.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
I would have liked to watch my balls, like. Would have been a fun watch. I would have watched it with other people just because it was hilarious.
I mean, it was pretty good. Art style's pretty decent too.
Yeah, it's pretty modern actually for what it was at the time.
Let me see. It started in 2006 actually.
Really?
Yeah, and ended in 2010.
Oh.
And I think I've read it in like 2014, 2015.
Yeah, I mean that was during high school, so. Well, for me it was during high school actually.
Yeah,
so.
No, I definitely read it somewhere at the beginning of college.
Yeah, so mine probably like either 2011 or 2012, one of those times. But again, I would recommend My Balls. Check it out.
Or
not My Balls, but like the manga My Balls.
Yeah.
No.
Or I guess if you're interested in Joe Mal, you can.
I mean, miss me with that gay shit. I'm not about that life.
You're assuming all our viewers are male, Joe Mal. You're right. You're right.
Aren't they?
No. I hope not. We promote things being diverse here.
We do.
And we want to reach out to everyone.
But who do we gravitate more towards?
But unfortunately, the way we talk is definitely gravitate. Well, it's not even on purpose.
It's a community thing.
It's a community thing. I mean, but there's plenty of women in the anime community.
Like Kim Kardashian now. We mentioned last week. Don't mention that. we try to forget. We try to forget those things. What do you mean? It happened last week.
No, fuck you. It never happened. It never will happen again.
Okay. That's just me though.
But yeah, that's just. There's just so many goofy manga out there. It's just. I mean, I haven't read that many, but there's a lot.
What are you reading right now? Or like kind of like
oh yeah.
Up until like what is it? A reading list? There you go, like a reading list.
Well, my reading list isn't, like I said, isn't on my anime list, but I have a bunch of bookmarks.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I'm reading Boku no Hero Academia, and I'm reading One Punch Man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also reading Musume, the Monster Girl, the really popular Monster Girl one. That one, man, ever since that manga, it was like that awakened something in me. I'm like, I never
there was a switch to go.
There was a switch, and I'm like, I didn't think this was gonna be a thing for me, but I guess it is. It's weird.
I'm still going for. I'm still Team Sue.
I mean, Sue's great. Don't get me wrong, but like,
I like being my slime.
There was a in the recent chapters of Musume, they introduced more Minotaur girls, and
are they thick?
I have some.
Are they thick?
I have some new favorites. Oh my god, thick with like 5 C's.
Oh my god, 5 C's? Yeah. Jesus.
Well, I mean, as thick as anime as regular anime does. It's not necessarily like thickness like hips and stuff. I mean, I guess kind of, but like Japanese thickness where it's all on the boobs and height.
Yeah, that's true.
There's that thickness.
Oh no, there's never enough thickness.
I mean, definitely not. Don't get me wrong. You can hit me with them infinite C's.
You can hit me with that infinite valley from like Passion Lip.
Right.
Like bring me in the infinite void, bro. Just
dive right in.
Dive right into that thickness.
But I've been reading Musume. I've been reading this one. I always forget what it's called, but I call it Demon Mama.
Oh yeah.
Where it's essentially about this world where I guess demons used to terrorize humans, but something happened and now they try to coexist peacefully. And this one demon woman has this child, and it's literally just about her raising her child, and it's precious.
Yeah, and just her discovering motherhood in general.
Her discovering mother, because when I say child, I'm her baby.
Yeah, because like he's just barely speaking and walking.
I mean, he can't really even speak.
He says "mama" though sometimes.
He still says "mama," but like he's probably like
a couple months,
maybe a couple months, maybe not. I wouldn't even say a year because he's still like baby babbling.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's like
it's so cute. One of the chapters
6 months, maybe.
One of the cute. It's cute. One of the chapters, like whenever like she rolls him, he's like flap his little wings and
he's got a little tail, wings, and little horns.
I kind of want to know who the father is.
Yeah, they did like a whole like a thing where like let's take a look into her past. Didn't show anything about the father. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's just her rampaging in the city, like in some village,
yeah.
And then time skip to like her being a doting mother.
Yeah, it's honestly. I mean, I don't care that much about the father. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
But like, it's so adorable.
Like I've already contracted like diabetes from like listening to this.
It's unfortunately it's one of those that only does like one a month.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. I don't think it's a it's solely on that, but like a lot of recently there's a lot of like Twitter mangakas where they kind of just draw like they like draw one sheet at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something like that. Like
okay.
Like I know it's like sort of like webtoon.
Yeah.
Maybe they have their own thing with that specific manga. Because it's also all in color too. Every chapter, isn't it?
No.
No,
it's not.
Oh yeah, I'm confused with something else.
Maybe. No, it's definitely not. I'm reading Goblin Slayer.
Oh yeah.
Boy, this is currently my favorite manga. Like, oh my god, is it gritty?
And by the way, anime announcement for Goblin Slayer was already confirmed.
I'm so happy about that. God damn, this manga captured my heart. I mean, it's gruesome. Like the first chapter, like you think it's gonna be one of those like, oh, it's a cute little fantasy adventure kind of D&D style or D&D idea kind of fantasy world. Where you got the healers and the clerics and the swordsmen and people. It's like it's the main character's sort of this like cleric girl that teams up with this super fresh adventuring partner and like, hey, we're gonna go try to level up and whatnot, or get stronger and stuff. So we're gonna go kill these goblins, and goblins are whatever, and anyone can kill goblins. So they go into this cave, and everything's all right. I think they found one goblin and killed it, and it's like whatever. Like, yeah, we're gonna do great. So they go, and then the cleric girl and the mage start talking about something. But the two melee characters start walking further ahead, basically leaving them behind in the dark, and like, fucking the goblins besiege them. Like they fucking rip apart the leader guy. Like they got like he killed a few, but like they got him down, like literally just beaten, battered his body, and then like. They shot the mage girl with this arrow that had that was apparently covered in feces and urine and some other type of poison, which essentially just started rotting her from the inside.
That's disgusting.
After they took her wand away from her, and she's super attached to it because she just graduated from this magic school, and they broke it in front of her. You see she essentially break down. And then they had a monk girl that was like, all right, I'm gonna protect my friends. They fucking knock her ass down, literally in front of the cleric girl. They just fucking rape her right there. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't expect it to be this fucking gritty. And they were about to get the cleric girl, but the Goblin Slayer gets in there and he just he just goes ham on him. And he saves the monk girl. He gets her out of there, and he's like, "All right, I gotta go kill the rest of these goblins." And the clerics go, "I want to come with you. I have to avenge my friends." He's like, "Whatever, okay, just don't get in my way." And he's a genius. He's the genius of goblins. He's just like, "All right, this is what they do. This is their culture. This is their genealogy. This is all their shit that they do." He just goes and tricks them all, slaughters the whole cave. There's even children goblins that are cowering in this little corner. It's we gotta kill them all. The only good goblin is a goblin that never leaves his hole, and he just fucking all the baby goblins are like, oh my god. And then it's essentially more of that the whole time. It gets a little bit more lighthearted later on, but
it was a strong start.
It was a strong start. I'm like, whoa, whoa, and I'm super into it right now. If you want a good gritty manga, you should read. Should get some chapters of Goblin Slayer. It's incredibly good. Jomo, you should definitely start reading it. It's
I probably won't because I was, I mean, I don't know if this is a good comparison, but I was really into Berserk, and so something like Goblin Slayer would be up my alley.
Well, like I said, it does get a little bit more lighthearted later. It still maintains its gritty goriness, and the themes are still there, but because now we're with the Goblin Slayer, things generally go well because you just kind of get the idea that he's hunted these things for so long that he just essentially knows every one of their moves.
Right.
And things go okay, but you start to kind of figure out that he's the only thing in his head is killing goblins. Nothing else.
Is that like the main thing? Like, is that his main thing?
Yeah,
just killing goblins?
He refuses to go after anything else. He literally legit refuses to do anything else unless it involves goblins. Killing goblins.
Did you ever explain that, or is it just like his drive?
No, they do explain why.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's, like I said, it's like a general fantasy world. There's like a demon general out there somewhere, and there's heroes going to go fight a war against them. But he's like, no, fuck that. I might, like, they have like this hero ranking system where it's like, you know, silver, gold, platinum, whatever.
Right.
He's like, he's not one of the tops, because there's like silver, gold, and then platinum.
Mm-hmm.
Platinum being like the heroes of Fable with like super power, energy, weird shit that are like practically superhuman.
Right.
And then there's gold, which is like the ones that are renowned enough to like where kingdoms will hire them. Like, hey, come help us fight this war because you're this super great person. And then there's silver people that are like just, I guess, sort of known but respectable skill kind of people, where they might not necessarily have this gimmick that makes them super strong, but they're good at what they do. And he's a silver.
Like the Goblin Slayer?
Yeah. And, I mean, he could probably be more, but again, he refuses to hunt anything but goblins. And they get into the whole thing where, like, because goblins are essentially worthless, in a sense, no one else will hunt them. No other, like, higher ranked heroes will hunt them.
Like, willingly?
Willingly, because the rewards for doing those quests is negligible.
That's true. It's like they're
essentially mobs. Level 1 scrub mobs.
Yeah.
But because of what happened with him, he's, like, only goblins. And it's, oh my god, it's so good, because it doesn't beat around the bush. It doesn't like skip too much, so you get to grow. Well, it's mostly told from the perspective of this cleric girl, and you get to grow. You essentially grow alongside her as she gets to know him more, and she becomes better at hunting goblins because she essentially parties up with him. And it's fucking, oh my god, it's so good. It is so good. I'm so happy that got an anime. I can't wait.
Well, tell me, it's summer? Is it this year?
I think it's definitely this year. I think it's actually, it'll be coming out in the summer, if I'm not mistaken. I know I mentioned it before.
Yeah, because the first sort of PV for it kind of came out like in February.
Yeah.
So I'd assume they'd be like ready for a summer release.
It looks like it's gonna be summer. Let me see here. Actually, hold on. I don't recognize. No, it can't. It's not coming out this year. It's not coming out winter. There's no way. Cause I don't see it. Maybe it's not. Hold on. I'm sorry, listeners. We're slowing down here a little bit because I need to confirm when this came out, because like I haven't been this into like into story since
One Punch Man?
No, not really. One Punch Man is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's like something hasn't like gripped me.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, I have to be on top of everything that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the manga, and the alt version is the anime. Wait, what? Oh, I guess it has a novel, a graphic novel. Cause I have to find out. It hasn't been announced yet, but it's supposed to come out in... Fuck, it's not telling me. Fuck you, my anime list. I need to know. I know. I have to know. If I don't know, I'll die. Jamal, I'm dying.
Alright, calm your titties down. Calm your tits.
I don't know. It's not telling me. I just know it's coming out sometime this year.
Well, eventually, I mean, we'll eventually find out.
Yeah, we'll eventually find out. But I'm so happy about that. Actually, it might come out fall of 2018.
Fall 20? Okay.
Yeah.
So fall. I see.
So it's a ways away. Probably when most people are starting school or college again.
You mean when it starts getting cold all over again?
Yeah, once it starts getting cold all over again. So after it preps you to get So it's coming out probably in the fall. But yeah, I would certainly recommend the manga. Then I don't know if I'm gonna read the novel because I don't know, the pictures sell it for me. But I
mean, just by looking at like the cover and also just like the anime visual, the key visual that they put out, it looks really good.
Oh, I know it's gonna be good. I cannot wait.
Like it does look intriguing, and I am all for it.
Yeah.
So as far as my list goes, I actually, I mean, just like you, Jerome, I have a lot of manga that I'm kind of just like piggybacking on, or just what was it? Just like on like just simultaneously reading and just keeping up whenever I can and all that. There are notable ones I wanna mention. I just have so many, but let's see. Okay, so out of the ones that I've recently went back into just to catch up on.
Yeah.
There's one called, what is it? Let's see. If it's for my daughter, I'll even defeat the Demon King. That's the whole title of that. And it's just this story about. It's a really cute story. It's a really cute story. Very, very, very loving, lovely, lighthearted.
Yeah.
It's about this adventure. It's in this like adventuring world, fantasy adventure world, where it's about this adventurer that ends up finding this demon girl, this little demon girl. Like she's barely like 6 years old, and like out in the forest, and he takes her in and like takes care of her just as though like she was his daughter. Okay. And it's just a really cute, lighthearted story. It's just like her learning just being how to be a kid and all that, because apparently she had some like weird troubles growing up and all that. And then they like cover up her horn. Like she has one horn because the other one was like cut or something, and so she has like these two little pigtails to cover up like the horns and all that.
Yeah.
And it's a really cute story. I recommend it just because it's a nice light read. And again, it's called like for my daughter, I'll even defeat the Demon King. It's that long title right there.
I mean, I guess it kind of tells you what the
I guess like the motivations are for that manga.
Yeah.
One I didn't expect that I was actually reading. One I didn't expect that I would actually read on.
Wait, is his name Dale?
Yeah, his name is Dale.
Dale.
Well, why is that funny?
His name is Dale. Dale the Adventurer. I'm sorry, it's so lame.
It's really
sorry to everyone named Dale, but like that's Dale the Adventurer. Like,
and it's so cool because it's cool because he comes back to this guild bar place, and that's where he just hangs out with like the owners of the guild bar and also the other adventurers.
Yeah, and
that's where he lives too. And the little girl starts living with him. So essentially, she starts living in the guild bar.
Yeah,
and you kind of a lot of it is mostly her kind of like just missing Dale whenever he's on the adventures.
Yeah, and
then so she's learning how to like cook, and like she's serving all like the big old buff rustic like adventurers, and whenever she's like carrying trays of food, they're all just like leaning in, just like looking to see if she'll make it. And then when she does, they're just like, that's good, good job, little girlie. Good, and like if anyone gives her any kind of shit, like some new adventures, they'll all like give that adventure like the death eye. And because it's not like the entire guild. It's the same schmucks that hang out in the guild bar.
Yeah, and
they're all like, it's almost like they're all like her family.
Yeah,
because they all look out for her and everything. Because she's like very like, it's almost like she has like a father complex. She's really dedicated to Dale and all that.
Yeah.
So because she's really close to Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real fun read.
Yeah.
It's gotten heavy recently just because the story's starting to progress with conflict and all that.
Right,
because
I figured.
her demon identity and all that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the updates on that one is slow. Mm-hmm. So like I've only just recently caught up, only because like they've only really released 2 chapters in the past year. Mm-hmm. So like, and that's really slow. Normally it's like normally it's monthly, or even like longer titles like that. But that's what it is. It's a really nice one. I mean,
I have to check it out because it does sound cute. And
just have to get over the Dale, the adventurer.
Fuck, that's such a weird name.
But as I was saying before, I went back into it. There was a manga that I never expected I would actually read on past like the first chapter.
Yeah.
It's called Isekai Yoku. And I just butchered that Japanese name. I don't even know the English title for that. But the whole premise for this one, it's one of those main character dies, gets transported into an alternate world.
Yep.
And in this case, the main character is he's a leading pharmacist, or he's like a pharmaceutical research guy. Mm-hmm. And he died because he overworked himself. He overworked himself because he had like it's the premise it's in the way in the beginning. The premise is that it goes into a memory of his where his sister has some sort of like disease, and there wasn't any kind of medicine that could help her.
Yeah. And
so he vowed that he would find a medicine. He would create the medicine for her disease, but she obviously passed before he could even like grow up and all of that. And so he dedicated his entire life's work into curing such disease, but then he ended up dying because of overwork.
Right.
And now he gets transported into this alternate world. It's a fantasy realm and all of that, and he gets transported into the body of the son of a famous pharmacist.
Okay.
But he still retains all of his pharmaceutical knowledge and all of that, and there's a lot of technical like jargon and all that when it comes to like different kinds of like pharmaceutical components and ingredients and all that.
So you pharmacist students out there would appreciate it.
It would appreciate if you pharmacist students would appreciate it. I don't know how accurate it would be when it comes to the interpretation that's been given out, but I can assume you'd appreciate it. And they also use magic in this world too. So like magic is also like hand in hand with like with medicine.
Well, that's usually how that goes in most fantasy worlds.
Yeah, Ilya. But in this case, ever since he kind of transported the world, he actually uses the more science part of magic, because in this case they use magic as a form of like a clairvoyance.
Yeah. And
it's just like the gods have given me the god of medicine. That's in this case that's what they're sort of relying on, like the god of pharmaceuticals or something. The god of medicine has given me this kind of clairvoyance to develop, to strung up magic to make the serum for a patient and all that. And then it's a cool little story to just like read, to see this little boy kind of trump out all these like these old like pharmacists that are stuck in their old ways, and he's using like I guess modern medicine techniques
technically
to like make medicine, all that. And he's also kind of gifted with the god of medicine, where he does like where he if he looks through like his fingers like a little peephole, he can actually see what's being affected. Like he'll like see like some marks in like people's throat, where it's a sore throat or like a sprained ankle. He uses it as an analysis, and then he uses his own knowledge to figure out how to solve it.
That's pretty cool.
I never thought I'd really get into it, even though there was a lot of like technical jargon that I didn't understand. But it was interesting and cool to see him kind of progress through his little life as a pharmacist and all that.
Well, there's a lot of manga that do similar things where it's like they'll focus on like one aspect. For example, that being like pharmaceutical and healing and things like that. There's Dagashi Kashi, which does candy. Exclusively. I mean, other than their all other shenanigans, but like Or it's more informational than it is like plot.
Yeah, like.
I don't know if that one has a coherent plot, but
not really. It does have a plot. It's just that they throw in like the pharmaceutical jargon as a I guess as a form of exposition.
Yeah.
But they're expecting you to know to understand such exposition.
Well,
like,
that's why they're talking about it, because you don't know what the fuck you're reading.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, there's something wrong here. Maybe we can use a little bit of like this is similar to how penicillin is made, and then using like different kinds of chemicals and elements. And like I'm just like, whoa, hold on. Slow down. What's wrong with this person?
What did she... Sore throat? What?
Tylenol? Just make Tylenol? No. Yeah. But that's what it is. I'll let me repeat it again because I kind of butchered that.
Well, what's its English name? Does it have one?
I can't really. I don't even know.
Well, I mean, just type it. Should if you go to the page, it should just like tell you.
Let me see.
Shouldn't it?
Oh, Parallel World Pharmacy.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, see, there you go.
Parallel World Pharmacy. That's the name of the this little
we'll
pharmaceutical manga.
We'll probably just put the names of all the stuff we mentioned.
Yeah, like we'll put them all down in the description down, and then if you're interested, sure, go ahead and write and look at it. If not, then fuck you. Yeah. You know, we're over here trying to recommend you some
quality media.
Quality, and if you can't take quality, then you don't want quality.
Exactly. But the only opinion that matters is ours.
Exactly. You want to fight us? Tweet at us. Mostly Jerron though. He'll be the bulk of those.
I'll fight you. I'll get a little Twitter spot with you.
Yeah, a little Twitter war. Yeah. You know, like we'll probably get a Twitter war with one person, and that's about it.
I mean, there's only like what 3 people that watch us.
Probably.
Coherently when it's not something big.
Now,
or consistently when there's not something big like the
Crunchyroll
Awards.
Yeah, and so moving on, there's one more manga I do want to recommend out there.
Yeah.
I'm currently reading it. It's not done. It's ongoing. And this one was actually greenlit for a anime.
Okay.
So this is sort of a weird one. So originally this manga is called Arifureta Shokuguyo de Sekai Saikyo.
Okay.
The English title is From Common Job Class to the Strongest in the World. That's the English title.
All right.
Now, this one's kind of weird because it's not originally a manga. The manga came from a web novel, as in like it was originally uploaded by someone else as just a complete like web novel series, and then someone I guess someone took note of it, liked it, and actually was able to get the writer and have an artist develop put together an actual manga. And this actually got an anime because there was a contest going on around sometime during the end of 2017 in December, where it was a contest to see which web novel series would get an anime, and this won for that spot to get to be greenlit for an anime. And this is the same premise. I don't know if you got it from the title, but this is the same premise. I just mentioned a while ago with the pharmacist.
It's one of those second deals where main character goes to another world for whatever reason.
Exactly. So you get the main character. The focus is the main character and his class in the beginning, and obviously it just goes. The beginning part just goes through the main character, his day-to-day life. Like he's got a crush on this girl. He's got he's not an asshole, but he got like the strong-willed kind of jock type kind of classmates in his class that are just like all up in confidence and all that. Kind of the boss.
Obnoxious.
Not he's not too obnoxious, but he's really obnoxious. You could probably say that. And they never really did explain it. They never have. But for some reason, the entire class gets then transported into this fantasy realm, into a different world, into this fantasy realm. The whole class, yeah.
All right.
Like the kind of.
All right, that's new. I'll take it. It's instead of just one, it's multiple.
Yeah, but it's this entire class. They kind of they kind of wake up into this world.
Yeah.
And they're essentially from the beginning. They're kind of told by some guy like, all right, you guys have been chosen to be adventurers for the land and go out and kill stuff. Like that was they were given nothing besides that.
Go kill shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like here's a sword, go kill shit. And now it's funny. The main character kind of like breaks the fourth wall kind of a bit in the beginning because like he starts off with a narrative like I was transported into another world, and how does this usually end up? Usually ends up with me being the most overpowered character, and leading my party into a great adventure. Yep. He's saying that while he's running away from a giant dragon. He ends up being the most weakest party member in the entire class.
Of course.
And during this dragon raid, he actually during this dragon raid, he actually ends up like falling into this giant like cave system. Yeah. And it's like not just cave system. It's actually like a dungeon, like a giant dungeon. Yeah. And you think he's okay, right? You're like, oh, like, he wakes up like, oh man, where am I? It's so dark. Like, okay, I gotta get back because they probably think he's dead, you know. But no, he's still alive. And he's like panicking because he thought it'd be like what he thought it'd be.
Right, where he'd be the hero. Right.
He thought he'd be the hero, be OP, be some sort of like be something because he wasn't
to what's his face from ReZero.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Subaru, but like no, reality hits him just as hard as the other reality in this world, which is it's sad to see, and he's panicking. He's panicking, but he wants to get back up there, and I'll say this much: during his entire time, he has to travel this entire dungeon, this little dungeon cave system, and he goes through a lot of crap. And not human, like it's not even like funny or anything, but like it's like he goes through some bad shit.
Well, he just falls into a dungeon and now his life is being tested.
No, yeah, exactly. His life is being tested. So here's an example.
Let me before you go into the example, is the entire like manga just about him in this dungeon now?
No. Majority of the beginning is.
Okay.
Because he does make it out eventually. But let me continue. So when he wakes up and all that, he's injured and all of that, and he tries to get hydrated. Yeah. And he's weak, and he's also hungry. Yeah. And so while he's looking around for like food and water and all that stuff, he gets encountered with this like high level ass thunder wolf like monster.
Okay.
And like he's panicking obviously, and he's about ready to fight it, and in the process of trying to fight it, he loses his entire left arm.
Okay.
And during that entire painful process, he goes into a berserk rage and kills this thunder wolf monster thing. Okay. And during his entire berserk rage, since he's still hungry and shit, he starts eating the monster raw. Yeah. And just going at it. And because he didn't think this through,
obviously he's gonna get fucking real sick.
He doesn't get sick. His body actually takes a toll because he's eating monster meat.
Right.
When he ate it raw, his body, what the manga describes is that his entire body just kept breaking and healing constantly for like hours straight.
Oh my god!
Apparently he just went through pain for hours because his entire body was absorbed because this wolf thing also had like abilities and shit like that, like thunder abilities, and it was like real powerful, and he was able to kill with one hand, and
I wonder if they're gonna explain that.
I would hope so, because during that process, in the manga, it said that for like hours, his entire body would start breaking and repairing itself for just constantly, to the point where, like, with Marionette syndrome, his hair turned white because of all the stress, and he eventually actually he adopts the abilities of this wolf, and he has this weird like thunder, like black thunder ability, and because of all the pain, his character changes completely from this helpless little boy to like this stone cold hearted monster killer. Because he still feels pain, but he's numb to like the sheer pain at this point, where he's just driven by just anger and just killing drive. Right.
So essentially, he turns into a Kaneki from
Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
Essentially. And he wraps up his nub of an arm, and then ventures out into the rest of the dungeon, kills a bunch of other shit. He continues to eat. He continues the process of eating and then breaking and healing again.
Yeah. But I'm assuming he gains more and more abilities.
He gains more and more abilities, and he eventually does become this sort of OP character, but for a loss of like pain but sacrificing humanity, pain and sanity as well. Yeah. Then it gets weird. Like it sort of gets weird to the point where like he runs into this like lowly girl, because every badass needs a lowly.
Of course.
Like he finds a little girl trapped in this like little prison system, which is like a trap for like a big boss battle, and all of that. And then he uses like all like the abilities he's crafted to where he was able to craft a new arm for himself, like a mechanical arm. Yeah,
from eating monsters.
Yeah, from eating monster meat.
All right.
He's gained abilities to like craft a new arm for himself and create like cannons and swords.
What?
Yeah.
What did he eat?
One of them was like a giant bear thing. And I don't know I forgot how the materialization powers kind of came out.
He made it out of metal. Where did he get the metal? Did he find some dark? I don't even know what you would eat to become an armsmith. Like what?
He materializes it. That's part of his abilities.
Oh well, so he. Oh okay. So okay. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then it's an interesting story because like it's a really. It goes from like 0 to 100 real quick for his character arc, because he comes from this weakling of a main character that no one really likes, to you got this super badass guy that takes no shit from no one at this point, not even like big bear monsters at all. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this.
Man, he looks fucking edgy. Oh my god.
He does, yeah, right.
Wow.
Is it like a before and after?
Well, no, it's not a before and after. I just saw the front of the page of the
cover
first
art?
book.
Oh, okay.
God, he's got the black jacket and the white hair. God damn.
You should see him how he looked before.
He's an edgy ass motherfucker.
Like he had like the kind of round, like hopeful, like main character eyes, and then reality struck, and he just started breaking, literally.
But like I was like, he's just that edgy though. He just looks edgy.
When your entire body breaks and constantly heals itself.
The dark flame. That's what he looks like.
Just full on Chuni?
Yeah, just full on Chuni.
I mean, hell, he's a fucking badass at this point.
I'd be so appreciative. I know a lot of people hate the concept of, it was all a dream, or he was just imagining it. I hope, like, at the end.
It's such a dream.
He's literally just acting out a Shinobu fantasy. Like, while he's not in class.
You know how upset I would be?
And he just found some little girl to play with him.
Because he hasn't even rendezvoused back with his classmates. They also still think he's dead, obviously.
I imagine. I mean, I'm pretty sure at some point he's going to meet him again, and then something's going to go down.
Yeah, like, because I want to see, like, the heroine and also, like, the one jock dude's face, because, like, I mean, they all accepted him as the weakling, but they never expected him to come back alive, right. Especially as the ultimate edgelord, And then there's this bunny girl that comes out of nowhere. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. I would recommend reading this if you're just into like something.
I'm gonna check it out.
Something interesting, something fun.
How long is it right now?
Right now it's 19 chapters. It's
okay. So
it's real slow.
Oh, okay.
It's a monthly update. So it's one of those. Because right now the latest one was actually like a couple days ago, March 15th. So it comes out every month. The new chapter. That makes me sad. It's a good read every chapter because there's a good amount of pages, but it's still
as long as it's not like
short.
Oh, there's like 20 pages.
But it's at least it's still consistent.
Yeah.
But I would recommend this. I'm really excited for the anime because I want to see this guy do his badass like binge eating and like fighting because of the whole lightning thing. He's also like super fast and shit. Mm-hmm. And he's just he becomes what he wanted to be with the sake of his humanity.
Right. But just like, why is he so fucking edgy?
Like,
he could have just gotten big, buff, like look like a fucking beefy, like a berserk dude. But no, he just like when I think of his body like tearing itself down and breaking, like his muscles are like as it like start to bulge and shit.
Right. Because of all like just the stress and all that.
Right.
Like you see, like he goes from something like this, like a nice black haired, like he's just like, all right, I can do it. He's confident and all that. To like, man, I need to find it. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Jeez.
To white haired, no arm, lowly picking up edgelord. Or here we go. Because he starts wearing an eye patch. He does lose one of his eyes in the process. He got his black coat,
wearing an eye patch.
Look at his metal arm, though. Look at that shit.
God.
See?
You have to see it when you read it, but god damn.
Look at that. Because one of his eyes gets some sort of like power.
So edgy.
The power from my right eye is starting to overcome me.
God. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And I'm just gonna sit there cringing into non-existence.
I mean, here's one of his berserk scenes right there. He's just like just infused with power.
So edgy though.
There you go. See, he comes from like running from a giant elder dragon to being a berserker class edgelord with one eye.
Edgy.
There we go.
Christ.
Like,
my arm.
my arm. The power. I shall construct a new left arm.
I don't hate it, but like it just
There's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. Like I don't know. I guess I can't say that I don't like edgy characters because, I mean, I don't even know if I want to open myself up to this on the internet. But you know what? No, it'll be some fair ammunition for you guys that want to fight me.
That's true.
I absolutely adore Shadow the Hedgehog, and like he's fucking edge king, and but I don't know why I just can't handle other edgy characters. Hell, I can barely handle Shadow now these days. It's like, man, you're fucking.
You're just trying.
Fucking hard.
You're trying, man.
You're trying right now. I love you, but like Jesus Christ. But no, I'm gonna check it out because the premise does sound interesting.
Because this is the key visual for the anime itself.
Where's this suit and tie coming from? Like, where's all this? Like, did he find that in the dungeon? Like,
probably. I don't know. He kind of like shows up with it.
God.
Because I think he ends up being rendezvous with some like elves and shit. So I guess he probably geared back up after being raggedy in the dungeon cave system.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Now he's just some suave butler due to this vampire lolly. I think she's a vampire or something like that. She's immortal. She's like a.
She's immortal somehow.
She's immortal and she was dumped there. And so she's looking for a new master or a new partner.
Okay.
And he's like, Don't worry, miss. The edgelord is here."
Ugh. Oh man, that makes me want to die. It's just like that's just
with Mr. Eye Patch and like metal arm, like full Metal Gear Solid.
What? Metal Gear Solid? Jamali.
No, I'm talking like Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay.
If you get the full Metal Gear Solid Eye Metal Gear because he's got the eye patch on and everything.
Oh, okay, I got you. Man, that just hurts my soul.
I just like the specific manga because like it's one of I like when main characters can redeem themselves like pain either like
it's not necessarily
berserk or like
a redemption. He just became another person. He literally just became another character.
Oh yeah, well,
there's not like, I mean, if you want to argue like, oh, his kindness for taking care of this girl is what carried over from him before.
Yeah,
I'm like, sure, he might have lost his humanity, but he didn't become an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. There's still him. He's still in there, but he just become a chuny edgelord. God
damn.
I mean, he's definitely gonna redeem himself when he rendezvous back with his class, and he's be like, "Who the hell are you?" So and he's gonna be like this. He's gonna be like out in the wind, going
blowing in the
wind with his eye patch like just shimmering in his velvetness, and his arm is like he's tightening up his tie. With his lowly goes fluttering in the wind too, just like.
Oh, it hurts. It feels like fucking razors cutting at my soul. It's so fucking edgy. Jesus. Now I don't even know if I want to do it now. It fucking hurts. It hurts.
It's a really interesting read. It's not like your standard like Sekai world where it's easy to pick up monster hunting and all that.
But it makes my soul hurt. My chest literally hurts because.
I mean, he doesn't monologue.
So fucking edgy.
He doesn't like monologue or anything.
Thank God.
That's a good.
That would have pushed me right over the edge. I'm like, no, I can't. If he monologues once, I can't.
Again, he doesn't monologue. Yeah, he doesn't monologue. He's just like learning his abilities and being berserked out.
I'm kind of wondering now though about the whole thing with the edgelord shinobi kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't run into a character that does that in seriousness when it's not being a shinobi.
Like series?
Whereas they're like, oh, my eye is...
Oh, like an actual serious anime that...
Where it's actually seriously about that. Like, I imagine like older anime are kind of like that.
I think so, right?
But like, this is... But like, I haven't seen an actual character that's serious about that.
I mean, I want to argue... Could you argue the Megumin from Konosuba?
No, because, like, yes, she had the power of explosions, but she talked about all this other stuff, like, oh, my eye patch does this and that.
Yeah.
That didn't do anything. Her only thing she can do is cause explosions. That's it.
That's true.
And she
she spoke monologue.
Yeah, but, again, that's because she's a tune, or whatever the shortening is.
I mean, I feel like everyone from her village is
her entire village is a bunch of
lame
ass mofos. I mean, look at her friend.
Yeah.
I mean, no, actually, I feel bad for the friend. I don't want to talk about it like that. I feel so fucking bad for her.
She just wants a friend.
She's literally that socially awkward person that has no friends but tries her hardest.
Mm.
Oh my god, I feel bad for her.
No, but yeah, you're right. I can't think of anything right now where like. It was seriously because the power of someone's like left eye or something.
Some weird BS.
I mean,
wait,
Code Geass?
Okay.
Because like it was pretty serious, and then Lelouch had his own monologue when it came to like
monologued a lot. You're right.
Like I, Lelouch V. Britannia, command you to obey.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was one. There was also that one anime about the guy with the flags.
Oh, the Kananjo no Flag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How that anime turned out.
Yeah, that...
Like, it was so fucking weird. There was no way to see that coming. No. There was no way in hell to see that
I couldn't see that flag at all.
Exactly. Like, that just took a turn. I'm like, where am I right now?
Like, your sister. Yes, she's actually your sister. Or, like, you are, like...
God or something. Like,
you are the god of flags. You shall
like... have to stop the the denizens of doom from entering the world and destroying them. Like, what?
By using the friends and party members you've gathered. Like,
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Like I couldn't keep up when it took that. Oh my God! What was the title of that? We gotta. Someone else has to watch that. I'm pretty sure people have.
I mean, I call it Kanojo no Flag. I feel like I'm missing a few words.
You can just look up flag anime. Yes. They don't know what you mean.
Yeah, true.
Like that was. Essentially, I brought that up because he kind of does it at the end.
Right.
He gets the whole blackjack and like, my mission is to.
Okay.
You know.
It's called Kanojo ga Flag wo Orara Terra.
Kanojo no Flag.
Yeah. So.
You'll get it, but man, it's like it's rare. It's more rare than a lot of manga and anime portray it as. Maybe it's more on the manga side.
What, they chuni?
Where like literal chuni.
Yeah,
actual
probably
weird. Maybe the Gray Man did it because his arm was actually this demon thing.
Yeah, but he never really like.
He was a nice kid. He was just like, I'm here to help my friends and whatnot.
He never announced it either.
Right.
Like, how about Guilty Crown? That was pretty serious, and there was a power to the king and all that. There was some monologues.
Right. I guess you can count K. No, K didn't
monologue, but there was some, like, weird... There was some, like, edge turf wars.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, probably, like, one of the funniest things I remember seeing was just them standing each other, just battling with their aura. Like, it was like blue coats versus the gangsters with the lowly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe all the edgy stuff we ignore because you don't notice it until you think back on it. Like, yeah, no, that was really fucking edgy. But I guess I was really into it at the time.
Yeah, that's true. Again, I wouldn't imagine like anyone would going about things like Lelouch would when it came to like using his ability.
Yeah.
It was like obey.
Right.
Like he would always do that. He would always like do his whole spiel. And like he would monologue like, yes, we did once play chess for quite a while when we were children. You always tried to beat me, but you never could. It's like, who are you? Like, you don't remember me. Well, let me remind you. I, Lelouch v. Britannia, at your service.
Well, but like, that was an act, though.
Yeah. No, I feel like he was really fully serious, though.
I don't know, because, like...
Because then you had the other guy, you had the princess, like, Lelouch! I didn't even know you were still alive!
I don't know. No, you're right. Everything he did as Zero was more of an act, but when he reveals himself as, that was him. Because
he really wanted to, like, sell himself.
Yeah.
Because he was really into himself and all that.
But then again, remember how it ended?
Yeah.
Because based on that, then the whole thing was an act, because he just wanted Japan to be united.
That's a giant chess match he's been playing then.
Essentially. I mean, I don't want to spoil the end, but, like... I feel like it was all an act to some degree. I mean...
Maybe. I mean, when he was genuinely mad, those were also, like, really dramatic moments.
Yeah. And then there was a whole scene where the Gia started doing shit.
Oh, yeah. It's like, what? No, and the whole way. Yeah.
Oh no! I guess that was a perfect thing of I can't control my eyes.
There you go. Yeah. Like, what is this? No, stop! I can't. I've lost control. What's happening?
Fucking do it.
And then you had Mahou like, I lost control years ago. Now I just bask in her voice.
Jesus. Yeah. No. We need to end this podcast right now. It has been at least 2 hours now.
Yeah, it has been.
We need to. I'm pretty sure people are done with us right now.
Probably, yeah. Well, as always, my name is Jamal Socorro.
My name's Dron Gaddis.
And we are the wannabeaboos podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest game and anime news, reviews, and waifus for lifeu.
And we will talk to you guys next time.
In a less cringy way.
And hopefully... we're always cringy.
We're always cringy every podcast.
We won't cringe.
I don't know, you kind of cringe a little bit.
Well, I did cringe, but hopefully next time we won't cringe. Goddamn.
But as always, good night, guys.
Good night.
Oh, before we go.
What?
I always forget this. Make sure to follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. Social medias.
So make sure to follow us on social medias. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else you wanna. You have access to an RSS feed or any podcasting app.
Yeah.
We're always available. If you want to fight us, tweet at us at wannabeaboos.
I'm not gonna fight you IRL because I can't fight anyone.
You can't even find us anyway, but you know.
But,
if you got questions, if you got concerns, if you got recommendations or just comments about what we talk about, tweet at us.
Or you want to sponsor us.
Or you want to sponsor us, or if you want some good hentai advice, there's.
I guess.
You know,
we try to stay away from that so that we can be relatively family friendly, but it doesn't work.
It's been 8 weeks straight. We've crossed that line already.
We've definitely crossed that line.
We've crossed that line.
But we want to stay at least in the realm of we can get ads, but not.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It's gonna be hard.
I don't know. I mean, again, during those discussions, make sure you're over 18. But hey, my lips are sealed if yours are.
No. You must be 18 to watch adult-oriented anythings. And I guess we're probably going to get flagged as such, so you're probably already 18.
Yeah, probably. But, yeah, as always, we're the wannabeaboos podcast.
Peace out.
Good night, guys.